Yo, what up, everybody? It's Crypto Oki. Let's take a look at the monthly charts for the leading cryptocurrencies. It's kind of funny to say it just because, there are some diehards with some of these cryptocurrencies, but not a lot of people are looking at them right now. Seems like everybody's trading the meme coins. So it kind of also leads me to think that we're going to have to chill out. We got to kind of get some of these people, wrecked before some of these the old timers can gain a leg up. I think that's where the liquidity is kind of going ever since the Trump dump. Another Trump meme coin. But there's some promising things going on here. So we are looking here at the monthly chart. I guess we'll just start with Litecoin. So we just closed yesterday. We're looking at this green 3 here. So we have on the sequential, we have a activating up to the upside, which could call for, up to, 6 more weeks or 6 more months of upside. MACD is crossed, good. RSI is looking great. Could be better. Don't pay too much attention to this month. It just started literally last night, and we're pulling back, so it's a little bit funky to look at. So this last little waggle is not really anything to pay attention to yet, since the month just started. But this is a beautiful. January was just an absolutely beautiful month for Litecoin, closing above all this congestion, above the bear market area. It looks like this close is the highest since December of 2021. So that's over 3 years. I expect us to hit into this 160 area before breaking much higher. Kind of talked about my targets being in the 540, 800 range, and then maybe some wicks up to the $1,000 area and higher. Here is also the CMF, which is pretty important to see the buying. And that's bullish. It looks like it needs to break higher. So it's not looking super imminent. But I think in the next couple of months. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen this month, obviously. Let's just take a look at the weekly. The weekly is looking pretty decent. We have these 2 inside candles now going on. So, and it's looking, with the pullback today, who knows what happens tomorrow. It's green candle, but it's not necessarily super bullish. We got to get above the 2 weeks ago, was that 143? About the 140 level to start going higher. But I like the 20s moving up. It's going to cross the 200. The 200 does have a slight down slope, so we could come back and test this, which actually would be pretty bullish, coming down to test in the coming weeks as this thing crosses over. This EXA is kind of turning around. I've been really liking this indicator. It's really been kind of called the top here. I go back and forth between what I like here. But, and it kind of has, according to this indicator, you took you out on back here at this area, in the 130 to 120 area. and it's really kept you out, which has been pretty nice. And it looks like it'll get you back in right around the same area without having to have any downside risk. So that's interesting. Let's look at the daily. Daily, we are creating new low from yesterday. So the 20-day will probably get hit. So I'd expect us to go down to the 120 area. Nothing much on there, but again, looking at the monthly, that's kind of what I'm focused on. Beautiful month, and that's kind of the longer term play here is definitely bullish across all these indicators, I would say. I would not be surprised a pullback this month before. I think, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, we're just one day in, and yeah, the prices are down, but I would not be surprised. The beginning of February, middle of February is kind of tough for crypto before going higher. So, yeah, I would not be surprised if Litecoin comes into the 110 area beginning of February, regains, some of those losses, closes green, and then March, April is more lucrative month for Litecoin. But I think, spot long here is definitely the play. So I'm bullish, very bullish, very bullish. Just not on a very short time frame. Again, we're looking at the monthly. So, we're looking at, capitalizing on some big gains. I mean, I would kind of compare where we're at now to being maybe around this November of 2020. Something like this, breaking up, well above the 20, well, that's a 20-month moving average, but, something like this. So where we have five, I think it's going to be a little, some of the bull run is looking more like the 2017 bull run, which had kind of two pumps versus the 2020, 2021 bull market, which was pretty much a straight up. I mean, Bitcoin went pretty much straight up with relatively fewer pullbacks, and then it had that double top. So it was hard to identify the top. I'm expecting more of a blow off top this cycle. So, on the short end, I think we have 3 more months of upside. On the long end, all the way up to a year. So that's a big time frame, but that's kind of what I'm seeing here. My opinion is more towards the longer of that, but we'll kind of see how that goes. But yeah, this is more. I think it's in the time where you're not trading short term, resistance and support. You're kind of positioned for some big gains here. Oh, it's kind of interesting. I didn't notice, but we do have an inside candle. January is an inside candle, or sorry, yeah, January is an inside candle. So yeah, breaking the 150 is going to be absolutely huge. And I would expect us to break out of this symmetrical triangle when that happens. So that's interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, we need to get above 150 on the monthly to activate that bullishness and the 140. So I think, once those things kind of happen, it's going to go quickly to the upside. So we'll kind of see. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back in the week or two, and then end of the month, February into March, start going up significantly. All right, let's take a look at. We'll just go to XLM. Binance has this interesting, or I'm sorry, Stellar does, the CMF is kind of going back into the negative territory, which is kind of interesting. Everything else looks good. I don't, here we go, we'll use rules. So, I mean, again, this last little waggle is not to be really thought about much, but it did cross negative and come and is in negative territory now. So it's kind of interesting. And with the, I mean, it didn't have a great month. Closing below, halfway through December's candle, another inside candle, two inside candles in a row. Obviously, I do not expect this thing to break to the bottom. But I'm not really thinking that this thing's going to break up based on last month's candle. And we, think the 50 cent range is going to be tough to break anytime soon. So it also just kind of adds to the cautiousness of the first half of February. Will we come down to this 30 cent area, 33 cent level? That would kind of make sense. Then I could see us breaking lower. So let's look at the weekly. I mean, see the EXA is still, again, we want this thing to turn up. It's curving up on a few of these. It's not curving up on Stellar. So I do think we're going to have some sort of, just based on some history, I think we're going to have some sort of relatively steep wedge action before breaking higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's going to be a little bit painful here. To touch the 20-week moving average would be good. Bounce off. The slope is very steep, so I think that's pretty good. So this week, again, had a few good days, but it's looking like it's going to close more towards the bottom of the past few weeks. So, short term, not too promising. That big day that we did have, what day was that? Thursday, it was like 10%. Was not able to close above the 20-day moving average. So, that's the first sign of strength. Otherwise, there's no reason to really go long here. So that's really all I got to say about Stellar. Again, it's I'm just not really too interested in. Well, I mean, with Stellar and Ripple, I mean, you have your positions hopefully from much lower. It's just a matter of what you want to do. I like the consolidation at the high. So, it is what it is. Let's keep moving. So I mean, I just wouldn't be, if anybody looking to get in, I would wait until it gets above 50 cents or, again, touching the 20-week moving average would be an interesting idea. All right. Ripple had a great month. So you would have liked to see Stellar to kind of keep up with Ripple, but it hasn't been, which is fine. But I mean, geez, obviously the all-time highest closing month ever. I think it closed above closing above December's high. I don't see any problems here. Let's look at CMF positive and definitely can go much higher here. Weekly. I mean, look at the CMF on a weekly. It's just somebody knows something. EXA is also good. These things all the indicators are pretty bullish. Weekly, we did have this kind of, forget what kind of candle that's called. It's a hammer, upside down hammer. It is breaking lower. So again, I mean, Ripple could do whatever it wants because of some news, but I would expect this thing to kind of, because it's breaking the lows, I would expect this thing to kind of chill out. Maybe the 20. I don't think it's going to touch the 20-week moving average anytime too soon, but I think some lower prices here in the next couple of weeks would be fine, and that's kind of what I expect there. Let's go to Ethereum. Monthly, not a great month. It is kind of funny. I saw one is like another, for the 120th time in the last year, people are calling the bottom for Ethereum, and really against Bitcoin. And that's what everybody wants to know. And it just doesn't look like it's the time. It doesn't look like it. And there's the month closing below December's high. Sure, it's a doji, but it's in the middle, so it's not really telling us much. Yes, we definitely need to get above 3,700, 4,000, and then I think it will go up. And some of these indicators, I mean, you'd like to see the CMF be trending up a little more. I mean, it's just sideways, so it's not bad, but you would like to see some of these things, which they're not bad. They're pretty bullish, but you'd like to see this thing going up would indicate a little more strength to me. Weekly, again, up and down, not really doing much. We need the EXA to cross up. I like the CMF is going straight, isn't coming down. The MACD is looking like it wants to cross over though. So that's interesting. And that'll close in a day. So yeah, I'm thinking the next 2 weeks, something like that. Lower prices will also get a sequential 9, so you could have a buying opportunity. But I've talked about this 20-week moving average on ETH. That's very important to stay above. So we'll see if it stays above tomorrow. That's at about $3,000. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's see if the daily's holding it. The daily's still, so we had a green 2 above a green 1, which is great. I don't like that it pushed back down all the way, close more towards the bottom. But we're holding yesterday's low. Let's see how today ends. Definitely want this to close above the 20-day moving average, and then for Sunday to be well above it. So we'll see how that goes. That's really that. Let's wait to go to big one. All right, let's go to Monero. Monero might be the most bullish chart out there next to Ripple, but it's also kind of just, in a certain sense, it's even more bullish. I mean, look at that green, look at that month. Straight up. Absolutely straight up. All systems go for Monero. All systems go. And it's kind of a slow, methodical pump where it's almost just, I want to see how many, look at this. Let's look how many weeks in a row. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks in a row. 6 consecutive green candles. We're going to get the TD sequential is going to activate here. Well, we have a day, and we're right around that level. It's looking like it. I mean, Monero is really kind of that, in a certain sense, the most bullish chart out there. 20-week crossing the 200-week moving average. if we look at it back in this kind of area, we're kind of talking about something over here. And the last time this happened was in November of 2020, and then it went parabolic. So kind of had a back test too, which is kind of what I'm hoping on some of the other charts that might happen. I think on Litecoin that might happen, but then went up 400%. I do expect it to go higher than that this time. It could, based on some of the, with all these candles in a row, I mean, it would kind of scare people. So it could do that. But I'm kind of more partial to this thing just keep creeping up and really just getting sucked up higher. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I don't think, and just with it bouncing off of this 200 week so many times already, I don't think we need to kind of pull back into it. So I'm not expecting that to happen there. Let's do the daily. Again. Just looking real good. Every time, it's just been about 20 day has been really turned that into support, it appears. So yeah, Monero's looking great. All right, let's go to the Bitcoin monthly. Great month out of Bitcoin. A little scary at the beginning of the month. Finished strong. All the indicators are bullish. Weekly, again, I like this kind of consolidation here in this range. And it does appear that we're going to go lower before we go higher. The EXA needs to cross above. CMF is fine. But yeah, we're sitting pretty heavy on a 20-day moving average. Kind of for the second time, and it's looking like today could be right below it. So I do think, I'm just, the only one that's telling me we're good is Monero. Everything else is kind of telling me we're going short term. Next couple of weeks are going to be red. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing here in the charts. So, I mean, if you're on the sidelines, nobody's on the sidelines. Nobody's on the sideline that's going to buy. Let's put it that way. But if you are on the sidelines, the next 2 weeks could be a little bit of an opportunity, but it's hard. I don't love to buy dips. Personally, I like to breakouts. But who knows? I mean, that's looking great. Bitcoin has been, when it's seeing buying, it has been, shooting up after it's selling. So it's pretty neutral. That's what I would say, because it's respecting the buying, going higher, respecting the selling, going lower, and kind of just in this range. So we'll see if this can pop us higher. Maybe it goes a little lower before popping higher. ETH Bitcoin. Again, this chart has been kind of interesting because of the selling here, but it's kind of grinded higher in a certain sense. So that's, I guess, bullish. So this was a little bit more formidable than I thought. It's just ETH is weak. I think it just shows you ETH is weak. Even just a little bit of selling, bam, price is down. See if this can turn us around. We needed some dense green buying to flip us there. So I don't think it's anytime soon. So we've got Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Again, looking pretty decent according to this chart. Litecoin USD. Yeah, you want to see some thick green. So I think I put we kind of have this triple top, head and shoulders. I think the target's about 119, which would make sense. And we broke below this. So I think Litecoin's going down into this 119 range for sure. It's already close there. So kind of keep an eye on that. Stellar Bitcoin, not much to see. Stellar USD again getting bought up. That's why I'm it's like pretty bullish on XLM based on this chart. Seeing tons of buying. XLM and ADA have this action going. I don't know what's happening, but they're looking good. Monero Bitcoin, that's nice. I don't see much selling, whereas at times we have seen a lot. This thing just grinds up. I don't know what's going on with Monero either, obviously. And then when we come to some of these spot exchanges, it's so much selling, but it's still kind of grinding higher. So always a good sign to grind higher, but questioning why that is. And then in the perpetual contract, I'm not sure why this one doesn't show us selling. So I'm not sure to trust some of the data. I have another indicator where the data is just all messed up because of it being delisted from exchanges. So I don't know. It's tough for me to kind of see it, but it has been, it has been cautiously grinding higher. It hasn't been going too parabolic. I like to see this XRP Bitcoin. Seeing a lot more buying than selling, where we have seen some selling in this bull run. So that's looking pretty good. Now, see, we did see a lot of selling this last week in the XRP USD pair. So, but it seems to be turning around. So again, that's why I think, going into February, short term, I think it's going to be tough, and then I think it's going to turn around. We'll kind of see. All right. The other thing I just wanted to touch on is there's just a lot of going on with the ETFs, and from what I'm seeing, on Twitter and the news, it looks like Litecoin's the next one to be approved. Polymarket still has Solana slightly. So by July 31st, they have the same odds. By 2025, Solana right now actually has the best odds, even better than Ripple and Litecoin. But I think Litecoin's, and then actually Ripple ETF has the highest in the short term. So, but I'm hearing the most out of Litecoin. So, I mean, this volume's not high. Solana volume is much higher. And of course, and Ripple as well. So, something interesting to look at. But I mean, again, there's the three, Litecoin, Solana, Ripple. And I do think they're pretty much leading the market. Let's go ahead and look at some of these. Let's take off some of these indicators. Let's go back. Let's run it back real quick with the Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at it on a monthly. So this thing, I mean, obviously it's bullish. It's going up. When is it going to come around? And kind of somebody made out a good point. It's just with this kind of going from 61 to 55. I mean, some of the Ripple, Stellar, some of the cryptos just went really high. So if this thing turns over the Bitcoin dominance, it could really mean that some of these cryptos go parabolic, which I do expect to happen, but I'm not exactly sure. So here, I mean, weekly, I mean, you really can't call it turning over yet until we break below 54, 55, make a new low, which I just don't know. It kind of seems like it could happen, but the momentum is still to the upside, I believe. So, we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Very interesting. Let's look at the daily. I know it's had ETH had a couple of good days, and that's really what it. And really, with ETH being about 10% of the market, it's really just against ETH bouncing today. But looks like we'll see if we can break this trend line down. Break below the 200 again. Turn this thing over. Would be interesting. All right, Monero. Oh, Monero finally broke this yesterday. I'm really bullish on Monero. Again, the order book's the only thing that has me cautious. Broke out of this triangle, closed above the 200 day. The 200 day moving average against Bitcoin is going straight. Looking like we'll close today above it. But Monero kind of just is it's volatile within the day. It can really move because it's not listed on many exchanges and whatnot. But I mean, it's looking pretty good. I love this. I guess you call this maybe an even atom bottom, where you have kind of a round bottom, V bottom action here. I just think this could go higher. I don't know what that means because it's a privacy token. Not a lot of people can buy it. There's let's kind of see what we got here. Maybe we have this kind of action. This one's much sleeper. Interesting. Now I'm just drawing lines here, huh? I don't know. I just like Monero. I don't know. I feel like you want to have some spot Monero. I just feel like you want to have it. Let's just delete this one. I feel like you want to have some spot Monero. This thing looks juicy. I mean, with XRP, with XLM being essentially a derivative of XRP, Monero's definitely got to be my second favorite. I mean, crypto. Litecoin just seems to underperform. I kind of get excited, but it never kind of does anything. Might pop. But yeah, wow. I'm excited for Monero. Let's look at the monthly. How do we do? I mean, the monthly doesn't look even as exciting. I mean, it was a bullish month, but still downtrend. All right, let's get out of here. Sure, we'll look at XLM versus XRP. See, that was in late November when it had it had a couple 50% days, XLM, and then XRP didn't do anything. And ever since it's been down and actually broke into new lows. So, I think, and then we closed low. So yeah, XRP is definitely the one to have over XLM. Let's just look at XLM BTC. Yeah. And then I think, again, until it recovers this 200-week moving average, nothing much to say about this, but it is looking like we're going to get some sort of squeeze here coming. And again, because of the order book, something's going on that looks pretty bullish. So that's kind of my XLM stance. All right, let's go to XRP versus Bitcoin. See, here's on the weekly. Again, we have this just crossed. 200s even sloping up, 20s aggressively higher. I mean, geez. So now we're playing with this kind of action here. I wonder. So if we look at that, let's take off the TD. Let's take off the MA. Let's take this out of here. Let's just clean it up a little. I mean, this is a monthly. The last time we closed above it was June of 2019. So we're looking at almost 6 years. That's wild. So if it gets above it, I mean, is it a crazy accumulation, Wyckoff accumulation kind of action here? Kind of got the spring. Um, I hope it goes higher, of course, but you would think you'd need some sort of back test here. Um, you would think, but the momentum I think is definitely to the upside. So, and XRP can do crazy things. Hasn't done crazy things in a long time, but um, did some crazy stuff in 2017. That's for sure. So I think it could. All right, let's see if there's anything on the daily. No, not much. Flaggy, but you know, could come lower. Doesn't really matter too much. All right. I'm sorry. Litecoin. Yeah, I have this little symmetrical triangle going on here. I was hoping it would break out. I didn't. It just took out yesterday's low. That's a little interesting. Weekly, again, not much to see here. It's just questionable if this is the bottom here. I don't think you can make it into a diamond bottom pattern, diamond reversal. But no, we're looking at this. I mean, it does have some upside. It does seem to me to want to go to the upside. From what I'm reading, I think Litecoin gets the next approval with the ETF. So I think that will pump it. Um, not having a great day today. This is this month, so not much to see there. But again, I think the weekly is what you want to see. Again, above the 200-day on the weekly. But if it breaks down below this area, I would think we're going lower, and it would need a lot more time to reverse. I'm slightly surprised that by July 31st, it's essentially a 50-50. I'm just seeing a lot of positive news there, but yeah, we didn't even look at ETH. ETH looks like shit against Bitcoin. I mean, that's just the facts of the matter, but I don't know. Especially when people are calling for the bottom when it doesn't even look like a bottom is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of funky. So we'll see. Um, yeah, I'm not seeing it yet. I'm definitely not seeing it yet. But maybe that's it. But all right, everybody. That's all I got. Let's go. Peace.